Leisure Line Stove Company presents the Leisure Line Stoves Video Information Series. Created to provide our valued customers with expert advice, techniques, and information on the care and maintenance of their Leisure Line stoves, furnaces, and boilers.
I'm going to give a run through today on how to assemble the stove from start to finish, the blower, the feeder, the hopper, everything that goes with it. So what we'll do is start on the stoves. In front of me here I have a Pioneer top vent to my left and a Hearth stove to my right. How we're going to start with the assembly of the stoves is in the ash pan are the majority of the parts. I'll pull out the ash pan and go over each and every part with you. With the Pioneer top vent and the back vent, what you need to do is pull out the fan, which mounts on the back of the stove. Inside the ash pan are all the parts, and I'll give you the explanation of parts. There's usually a parts list in each ash pan, so as we assemble them, we don't forget anything. In each stove, in fact in all our stoves, comes a kitty carbon monoxide detector. I speak of this throughout the entire video, and I think it's really important that you have a carbon monoxide detector on every floor of your house. For the top vent Pioneer, you have a brass ring. It goes on the top of the stove. It's just decorative. You can use it, you don't have to use it. It's up to you. This is our fire stop, which you put on the grate when you go to light the fire. It stops the coal from falling off the front of the grate. We have the gasket that will attach to the feeder itself that the hopper sets on. It's mostly for vibration purposes, so we don't get a rattle. Two brass handles that go on the stove, on the top and bottom handle. Keep it cool so you don't burn yourself. The instruction manual and the warranty. Please fill out the warranty, fold it, tear it in half, and send it back to us. I'd really appreciate it. It helps us out tremendously as far as where the location of our stoves are and so on and so forth. This is the Hearth here to my right. We're going to take the parts out of that and show also the same as we did on our top vent Pioneer. It's the same stove body as we use on the Pioneer, except what we do is we locate the feeder and the hopper on the left or right hand side, whichever side you want. You can be special ordered that way. Standard is on the left hand side facing the stove. This comes with a 212 CFM blower and our ash pan. In the ash pan is the parts list, carbon monoxide detector, very important, fire stop for starting the fire, stopping the coal from falling off the grate. This is a piece of brass trim with double back tape that actually goes on the hopper when it's assembled, just for decorative looks. Our hopper gasket, that would go on the feeder. I'll install that when we put the stove together. The two brass handles again. This is just a plate that we make that actually mounts on the side of the feeder just to hide the motor and the workings of the feeder itself. We have brass trim plates that go on the front and sides of the stove. There again, it's just double back tape. It's held on with our warranty card and instruction manual. Please read the manual. Please go over it from top to bottom. It's very important. Again, fill out the warranty card and send it back to me. I'd really appreciate it. And we'll start right now with mounting the blowers on the stove. We'll have to spin the stoves around. I suggest that you lean it against a chair like the seat of a chair is real good because it'll give you a good working height. Everything on the Pioneer and most all our stoves are 7/16. A 7/16 socket or nut driver or whatever will work real well, open end. So a 7/16 wrench is probably the best thing to have. So if you don't have one and you're going to put the stove together, go get one right now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to install the convection blower on the Hearth stove. What it is, it comes in this lengthy box. It's a dual fan with a single motor. They're the little mounting brackets. How this works is you have 4 studs sticking out the back of the stove, and on each one of those studs is a little 3/8 nut. You just run them off, slide the convection fan right over it, run the nuts back on, and that's pretty well how the blower is installed itself. Alright, now with our top vent Pioneer or back vent Pioneer, we're going to mount the convection fan. On the top vent Pioneer, standing behind the stove, it's on your left hand side where it mounts. On the back vent Pioneer, it's mounted on the right hand side. That's just for clearance of the motor where the pipe comes out on the bottom vent. The whole operation starts by mounting the 265 CFM convection fan. It comes in the stove, has 4 mounting holes. I've removed the bolts in the front, taken the nuts off the back. How this works is the easiest way we found is to put it on the 2 studs in the back, running your nut on just to hold it enough. There it is. Now you can apply your other nut and the 2 studs real easily since it's not going to fall off. Alright, now that we have both convection fans installed on the Hearth and on the top vent, what we're going to do now is install the feeder. We have the 7/16 bolts. I'm going to take all 4 of them out. The feeder will slide right in. We kind of lift up on the bottom of the feeder, snug all the bolts up, finger tight, then use the 7/16 ratchet to draw everything in. Now with the bolts backed out, what we want to do is slide the feeder into the stove itself. It's heavy, so be careful. Try to use 2 hands. It fits right into the box. Don't pinch your fingers. That's the one. We'll do them both here before we reassemble and bolt it all back together. And that's the other. Now we're going to reinstall the bolts. What I prefer is when you do install the bolts, put the feeder, grab the feeder under your hand, and after you have the bolt in, actually lift up on the feeder a little bit to snug it. Because there's plenty of room for the feeder to go up and down. Now this plate here that comes with the Hearth stove has 2 holes in it. These 2 holes match up with the 2 holes that are in the hopper, or in the feeder. So what you want to do is locate the bolts in there, get it started, and that's that. Now just use your ratchet and tighten everything up snugly. Alright, now with the feeders installed, the next operation what we want to do is put the hopper on. With the hopper we have the 2 studs up on top with the 7/16 bolts that you loosen up. What we're going to do now is set the stoves back down on their legs. With the Pioneer, we're also going to add the hopper gasket. Again, this is self-adhesive. All you do is go right around it, apply a little pressure. You might have to stretch or the gasket. That's it, right there it is. And the hopper will set securely right on top of this. The feeder itself will hold all the weight of the coal. We have the Pioneer hopper here. Comes in a box with the glass, with the door cover. It's the hopper and lid. I'll show it to you in just a second before I hurt myself with that knife. The hopper lid is inside a little plastic bag. It's made of 16 gauge steel. Has a warning inside to be careful that it is a high temperature stove. We'll place this down here for right now. The hopper itself when you get it out of the box, you'll find a door cover inside. I'll explain this. And the piece of glass, which later on in the video I'll show you how to install the glass and gasket properly on it. Okay, the hopper itself has two ovaled holes in the back side of it, which that is the side that goes on toward the stove. Just take it up. It has a flange all the way around it. This flange sets inside the feeder. So we'll take it over here to the stove, set it on top of the feeder itself. With the hopper setting on top of the feeder, what we want to do is secure it to the stove. So we have our 7/16 bolt with two fender washers. Take the one fender washer off, stick it on the back side of the hopper, run your bolt through it, stick it into the back of the stove, and just run it in a thread or two. We'll do the same on this side. Again, the washer toward the head of the bolt, the other washer on the back side of the hopper. Run your bolt through, stick it into the back of the stove, and start it. Alright, now we'll mount the hopper on the Hearth stove. I've already backed out our hopper bolts. The hopper itself comes in a box with the glass, with the door cover, and the hopper lid. The hopper lid is wrapped inside a plastic bag, just so you don't scratch things up. The hopper itself has a door cover, which I'll explain later on, and our piece of glass, which we'll show how to install in another part of the video. With the hopper, lay it onto the feeder itself. It's going to set on top of the gasket that we applied. Again, with the bolt with the two washers. Take the bolt and one washer. With your other hand, hold the washer on the back side of the hopper. Start it into the nut. Do the same on the opposite side. One washer on the bolt, one washer on the back side of the hopper. And we're going to put it in. And that's the deal for mounting the hopper. Okay, what we want to do now is apply the brass handles. These just screw on. You stick them on the end of the handle itself and turn it in to whatever desired length you like. There's no set measurement or anything else. It's whatever you like. This is done just by putting them on the handle and turning. I won't put them on too far just for lack of time.
To find your closest dealer of American-made leisure line stoves, furnaces, and boilers, or view additional videos, visit www.leisureLinestoves.com.